Morning, students. I have come again. This is Mrs. Ekwebene. How are you doing? I hope you are doing fine. Relax now and enjoy this class. Today, our English language topic is going to come from summary. And we are going to look at the practical approach to writing a good summary. That is the do's and the don'ts of summary writing. When we talk about the do's, we are talking about the things we need to do, the necessary things we need to do. The don'ts are the things we are not supposed to do when we are writing summary. They are the things we are not supposed to do when we are writing summary. Now, what is summary? Summary is the brief statement of the major points in an essay or write-up. It tests your ability to read, understand, and extract relevant information in a clear language. Now, when we talk about what I have just said, whenever you are given a summary passage, it's not that you cannot read and understand what is there. But the essence of giving you that summary passage is to know whether you can read and understand. After understanding, you'll be able to pick out the major points that we are discussed in the passage that was given to you. That is all about summary. That is why we define it as a brief statement of the major points. That is when you pick the major points, you express them with brief statements. That is all about summary. Now, to write a good summary, there are many do's and don'ts one needs to put into consideration while writing a summary. They are, number one, read the passage very well to understand and enjoy it. What do I mean by this? Whenever you are given a passage to read or answer, as far as summary is concerned, you are expected to read and enjoy the passage first. Don't just read it because you were asked to write the summary questions. No, read to know what the passage is talking about before you be able to answer the questions there. That is why most students are having problem with summary writing. They say that it's a test. They want me to get the answers for the questions under. And for that, they will rush and gather the questions even when they are not right. They will give it out and they won't get it right. Try to read a passage, digest it, understand what is there, what is discussed there. Understand every sentence structure there. Then enjoy it. Do as if you are trying to know what happened in the passage before you will start writing. Number two, read it the second time to understand the sentence structures in the sentence. So when you have read the first time, you need to read it the second time. In this second time, try to see how sentences we are connected to each other, how paragraphs we are connected to each other, the points that we are discussed in various paragraphs. After you have done that, number three, you go to the question part. Read and understand the questions before you go back to the passage to scan for the answers. When we are writing a summary passage, we have what we call skimming and scanning. Skimming is when you read to understand and enjoy the passage, while scanning is when you go directly to the passage to pick the answers, to search for the answers in the various paragraphs. So read it now. Go after you have read it second time. Go to the question part. Read the questions. Now come back to the passage again. Begin to go paragraph to paragraph to see whether you can pick out the answers to the questions that they have given you. Then after you have done that, number four, always look for linking words. Words like also, moreover, furthermore, in addition, etc. All these words, wherever they occur in a passage, they have something to discuss. They have a point they are talking about. So they will help you pick out the points that will help you answer the questions that you were asked. So try to follow them up. It's not only this four, there are many. That was why I added that this etc. We call them linking words. They link us to the points that are being discussed in that particular paragraph. Now, number five, write your answers in very simple and correct English. When we talk about summarizing, we are talking about writing briefly. And a simple sentence is a sentence that has one verb. So when you are writing your answer, always make sure that answer has one verb, please. And make sure the answer is correct. The English you use there is correct. Use good English, not bad one. Now, there are many things we are not supposed to do, please. I want you to take note of all these things. Avoid grammatical error or grammatical and expression error. Now, when we talk about grammatical error, we are talking about you getting the answer right, but putting it down with wrong English. Look at this sentence. She fetches water of the well. Maybe they ask you, what are the duties the house girl perform before she goes to work? She fetches water of the well. Imagine that English. The answer is right, but the English is very poor, it's very bad. So when you speak such English while writing your summary, or you write this type of English, you will fail because the answer, the sentence, the English you use to express your answer is very wrong. Maybe spelling error again. Maybe you have got the answer right, the English is correct, but you couldn't spell it well. You couldn't spell the words well. Definitely you will fail. That is why please always work with your spellings. Always work with your English. Speak more of English than Pidgin, please. Number 2, avoid the inclusion of unnecessary materials. Now, when we talk about summary, we are talking about writing briefly or expressing briefly what we have understood from a passage. But it surprises me that some students will equally start up a new paragraph in the name of writing an answer to a summary passage. There are many things you need to avoid. There are many things you need to remove when you are writing your summary passage. We call it substitution method and the elimination method. The elimination method will help you remove those words that are not necessary to your answer, while the substitution method will be used when you want to pick your answer from the paragraph. So always use elimination method whenever you are writing in order to bring your answers down. For instance, they asked you, how old are you? I am 12 years old. I am 12 years of age. I am 12. These 3 answers are correct. But the person that wrote, I am 12, based on the question that was, how old are you? I am 12. I am 12 went straight to the point and hit the nail on the head. So the person that wrote it in summary will score the highest mark because the person went straight to the point without adding unnecessary materials. Then number 3, avoid giving your answers in phrase instead of sentences. When you use phrase to answer your summary question, you have failed. Always use sentences. How do you know that you have used a sentence? A sentence is constructed with a subject and a verb. That is subject, verb, SV. There is another one that is subject, verb, and object. That is SVO. You can choose any of them. Make sure there is subject and there is a verb in your answer. But when you use a phrase does not have a verb. That's the difference. So always follow the rule. Then number 4, avoid writing a preamble that does not make a sentence. A preamble is a sentence that introduces the answers that follow. Now, when we talk about preambles, we are talking about when they ask you in 4 or 5 sentences, answer the questions, give out the reasons why something happened. Now, they say 4 or 5. The moment your answer is more than 1, from 2 upwards, please use a preamble. Now, let me introduce the preamble. In 5 sentences, explain why most men are poor. Before you start answering this question, you will start this way. The reasons why most men are poor are, then you put your colon. This sentence, the reasons why most men are poor are, is what we call preamble. After you have written it, you put your colon, then you come down with your Roman figure. The reasons why most men are poor are, 1, they come from poor family. 2, some men are lazy. 3, they marry wrong wife. 4, they have wrong business partner. That is how you continue to put down your points. And make sure it's with Roman figure I, V. You continue that way. Then, number 5 says, avoid giving 2 points in one sentence. When they say in one sentence, that was what I said initially, using a simple sentence. You know, when you use a simple sentence, it's a verb that will be there. The moment you use and in your answer, you have given 2 points rather than 1 that you were asked to give. For instance, give reasons why most men are poor. You write, most men are poor because they are from poor background and they marry wrong wives. They are from poor background and they have wrong business partners. They are from poor background and they are lazy. The moment you use and, you have given 2 points. So always give your points, and no matter how short it is, but the point is there, the key word is there, and there is a verb and a subject, you are good to go. Then avoid lifting word for word the writer's idea. When we talk about lifting word for word the writer's idea, we are talking about you. After you have read a passage, you went straight to the passage and copy exactly what was written in the passage. When you copy it that way, you don't expect them to mark you right. It's just, writing a summary is just like somebody that has watched a movie and somebody else asked you to explain what happened in the movie. You know, what do? You tell the person the most interesting part, the major things that happened. Then when you begin to write Write, repeat what somebody said. This person said this, and he ran, and he started crying. All these ones are unnecessary. So it's just like you copying word for word. They gave you a passage, and you saw the answer in the passage. You went down there and copied everything that was in the passage. We call it verbatim or mindless lifting. Mindless lifting. That is the two names for it. And it's totally wrong. The moment they notice that you copied verbatim what they have in the passage, they will mark you wrong. You will fail. So use your own English. Pick the keyword, paraphrase it. Use your own English and explain what you have understood from that particular area or the passage they asked you. Then the next one, avoid writing more than the required number of sentences. For instance, they will write in 6 sentences. That 6 is always in bold letter, capital. In 6 sentences, explain why most men are poor. Now, because they gave up to 8 reasons why most men are poor, you decided to give the 8 reasons. What was the instruction? In 6 sentences. Now, you gave them 8 sentences because you noticed that there are 8 reasons, and you gave out the 8. You are writing to impress, and you are not writing to communicate. You will fail. That is for sure. It's better you adhere to instructions. Since they say give 6, pick the major 6 that you have found. Forget about the remaining 2. You don't have business with that. They say 6. Obey the rule. Write 6 sentences, please. Don't write more than what you are asked to write. Then number 6, avoid lifting. Okay, we have talked about that. Number 8, avoid saying in too many words what can be said in one or two words. Just like I said, adding unnecessary materials. What you can say in a twinkle of an eye, what you can say with 4 or 5 words, you will like to say it with 20 words. The moment you write a longer sentence, it is going out of summary. You are constructing a sentence. That is why essay writing is the opposite of summary writing. When you are given just a simple question to write an essay on it, you write almost 450 words. You are expanding it. And that same essay that you have written that has almost 500 words, they will ask you to summarize with 4 sentences. This time around, you are contracting. Look at the two. When you are writing an essay, you are expanding a topic. When you are writing a summary, you are contracting a topic. So always make sure you obey the rule of summary writing. Avoid saying in too many words what can be said in 1 or 2 words. Let me give you an example. The farmer plants cassava, maize, cocoyam in the month of June. And they ask you, what does the farmer plant in the month of June? Now you repeat, the farmer plants cassava, maize, cocoyam. Another student wrote, the farmer plants crops. Now that student that used crop has used crop as a packing case way to package cocoyam, maize, and other crops that was mentioned. He packaged it into crop to make the sentence shorter. That sentence, that particular student that wrote crop will score higher mark than the one that wrote maize, cocoyam, and others. So always look for a packing case way that you use to pack your words in order to make them smaller. Then, number 9. Avoid rushing to look for answers without thorough understanding of the passage. Avoid rushing to look for answers without thorough understanding of the passage. Now, some students are fond of this. When they are given a summary passage, the first thing they will do is to go down to the question side. They will read the question after they have read the question. In fact, some students are fond of this. They will go to the question number 1, read it, come back to the passage and look for the answer, even when they have not read the passage at all. They have not known what the passage is discussing. They don't want to know what is being discussed in the passage. They are after the answers that they will give. So after they have read the questions, they will go straight to the passage and start searching for the answer. You are searching for the answer from the passage that you don't know what it is talking about. It is totally wrong. So don't rush to look for answers. Read, understand first before you begin to look for your answers. By the time you obey all these rules I have mentioned, summary writing will no longer be a nightmare. Because I notice that most students find it difficult to write summary. Whenever it gets to summary writing, they feel like, it's a tug of war. It's as simple as ABCD if you can obey all these rules that I have labeled here. Then after this, I want you to go to your textbook. Pick any summary passage from your textbook and attempt it, observing all the do's and the don'ts I have taught you. observing all the do's and the don'ts I have taught you. I don't know the textbook you have with you. You can use Goodbye to Failure, you can use New Concept, you can use Macmillan Brilliant English, you can use Oxford, you can use any textbook that has to do with your class. Since this is SS1 class, you are expected to pick one of the SS1 English textbooks. Read, understand, then answer the summary questions of your choice, trying to observe all the rules that I have mentioned here. Thank you very much and God bless you.